Where in your leadership do you need less talking and more listening? Maybe it's at home, a conversation you've been too tired to really hear. Maybe it's at work, a person whose silence says more than their words. Slow down. Turn your ear to wisdom. Ask God for understanding, because sometimes the voice of the Holy Spirit doesn't shout, it whispers. And when you train your spirit to hear that whisper, you become the kind of leader who doesn't just manage results. You multiply peace. Did you catch that? Peace is the fruit of discernment. Are you ready to unlock growth, build resilience, and confidently take the next step in leadership, career, and faith? Welcome to The Next Move. I'm Orvin Kimbrough, a CEO, author, and leader with a passion for helping people and organizations thrive. My journey from foster care to CEO has fueled my mission to help professionals scale their confidence, leadership, and influence through mindset shifts, expanded networks, and bold action. Each week, I'll share reflections ripped straight from my blog to inspire and empower you with actionable insights. Let's get started and make your next move your best move. You ever walk into a room and feel something off? Nobody says it out loud. The reports sound good. The meeting looks polished, but your spirit knows something underneath isn't aligned. That moment, that quiet tension you can't quite name, that's where leadership really begins. Because true leadership isn't just about what you say, it's about what you sense. Today on The Next Move, we're talking about discernment, the discipline of seeing what others miss, hearing what's unsaid, and leading not just with authority, but with awareness. Stay with me, because what you sense often tells you more than what you see. Welcome back to The Next Move, the podcast where we explore faith, leadership, and personal growth to help you take your next step with purpose and confidence. Folks, I am your host, Orvin Kimbrough. I'm so grateful you're here. Every week we draw from real stories, from business, from community, and from faith to uncover practical lessons that help us grow into wiser, more grounded leaders. And today I want to talk about a discipline that's rarely taught, but always needed: the discipline of discernment. Leadership, folks, we all know this. Leadership is loud these days. Everyone's talking. Few are listening. It's frustrating. Somewhere along the way, we confuse leadership with volume. Whoever talks the most commands the room, drives the results. But leadership isn't always loud. Sometimes it's still, sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's the wisdom to pause before you speak. I once told a colleague, you're my eyes and ears. I didn't mean that as a job description. I meant it as a responsibility, because every organization has two conversations: the one people have out loud and the one they're too afraid to name. A discerning leader listens to both. Proverbs 2:2-3 says, turn your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. That's not just poetry, that's a practice. When you slow down long enough to truly listen, wisdom begins to whisper. Did you catch that? Folks, wisdom rarely shouts, it whispers. And if you're too busy talking, you'll miss what God is trying to tell you. I remember leading a senior executive who seemed to have it all together. His meetings were polished. His numbers were solid on paper. Everything looked right, but something didn't sit right with me. Not because of what he said, but because of what others didn't say when his name came up. When he entered a room, eyes lowered. When he spoke, people stayed silent. Discernment told me there's something here. I could have brushed it off as office politics, but that quiet tension kept tugging at me. So I leaned in. I met with his team. I observed their rhythm. I listened more than I spoke. And what I found wasn't betrayal, it was burnout. They weren't resentful, they were weary. He was driving performance but missing presence. When I brought it to him, he was stunned and grateful. He was stunned and grateful. Together, we made small but powerful changes. He delegated more. He celebrated small wins. He slowed his pace. Within months, morale lifted, results improved, and trust deepened. That's the power of discernment. It turns observation into insight. It turns insight into compassion. It turns compassion into transformation. Discernment, folks, discernment isn't about suspicion. It's about stewardship. It's the leader's ability to see beyond the numbers, beyond the noise, and understand what's really happening. Because culture doesn't collapse overnight. You know that. Culture does not collapse overnight. It erodes quietly. It starts with unspoken frustration, unseen fatigue, unacknowledged brilliance. A wise leader doesn't just watch spreadsheets. They watch people. I hope you caught that. Let me just say it. A wise leader doesn't just watch spreadsheets. They watch people. And discernment takes humility, the humility to admit, I may not know everything, but I'm willing to listen for what God might be saying. When you lead that way, you build trust that's not rooted in control, but rooted in care. When you begin to model what I call quiet strength, a strength that listens before reacting, observes before judging, and prays before deciding, because discernment is not just a leadership skill, it's a spiritual discipline. So let me ask you a question. Where in your leadership do you need less talking? Do you need less talking? Do you need less talking and more listening? Maybe it's at home, a conversation you've been too tired to really hear. Maybe it's at work, a person whose silence says more than their words. Slow down. Turn your ear to wisdom. Ask God for understanding, because sometimes the voice of the Holy Spirit doesn't shout, it whispers. And when you train your spirit to hear that whisper, you become the kind of leader who doesn't just manage results. You multiply peace. Did you catch that? Peace is the fruit of discernment. Thanks for listening to The Next Move. I hope today's conversation reminded you that leadership isn't just what you say, it's what you sense. It's what you notice when no one's watching, what you hear when others are quiet. If this episode encouraged you, share it. Share it with someone who's growing in leadership or faith. And if you'd like to go deeper, visit orvinkimbrough.com to subscribe to my premium leadership email newsletter, weekly reflections designed to help you grow with clarity, courage, and conviction. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your ears tuned, and your heart humble, because when you lean, when you learn to lead with discernment, you don't just lead people, you lead peace. Thank you for tuning in to The Next Move. I hope today's reflection inspired you to take the next step in your leadership, career, or faith journey. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a little encouragement this week. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like more reflections or resources, visit orvinkimbrough.com or theaccidentalbanker.com. Until next time, remember, every step you take brings you closer to thriving. Let's keep moving forward together.